Hello, hello. Back again today with the second replay. And here on the Crystal Lake, and I'm tapped in the wrong window. Great start. And it's myself on the Empire. Um, as warned, you will see that a lot of seasons from my cast simply because I am full dived into Empire this patch cycle before I return to Wood Elf, so all the single faction tournaments are basically me on Empire, and I get the most recast replays from that. And on the other side, Ruffland Voltiga on Bretonnia. With Luandonkor, it's the most common lord for Bretonnia these days, I would say, and especially into shooting factions. He has this lion shield, which even if he gets trapped somewhere with this and his ward save and innate missile resistance, he gets to 70% resistance with armor. He won't die from shooting. He also won't die from a lot of other things since he has this regeneration until he is routed once. Beloved, oh, he does have the beloved son of Bretonnia. A lot of Bretonnians I see don't bring this ability. It activates when he gets below 50% health and is a map-wide steroid buff, melee attack, and immune to psychology. Perfectly synergizes with a time when the Grail relics usually start dying off. So I see a lot of Bretonnian player cheaping out on this. It costs 150 gold and is such an enormous punishment for the try to kill this guy that usually you're better off not trying unless you also can pull it through and really kill him or out him off the map. But yeah, most seem to bank on his regeneration, just keeping him above 50% and thinking that it would be useless then. And lastly, about him, he is the sort of strong ability to swing around. Yeah, important fights or duels, that is. Yeah, the rest of the Bretonnian army is not much to comment on. Grey relics, peasant mobs, 2 archers, and the rest men-at-arms. It's a 20-stack Bretonnian opening. A lifecaster with flesh to stone and dwellers below. No healing. That is interesting. So yeah, really banking on this regeneration. Which is not wrong, so but yeah, this is interesting. Dwellers just got nerfed back to, let's say, reasonable level. And now my empire before we actually crash. We have France here. I brought him, and Luan is straight out for blood. Activates his Sword of Korong, debuffs. Come on, show me the card. Debuffs France, but France has his own items on his side, and Galmares is no joke. And so this duel, during the period now that France got buffed onto same health levels, it's kind of mutual distraction, but I think France is better during this time. And some demi-griffins. I tried to land France here to bait Luan into the demi-griffins, which would be an insanely good fight for me, but I don't think he does this with him. Jade Wizard with just regrowth to heal France and demi-griffins. And double mortars, and the rest is spears and halberds, just to provide some capture weight and math. The mortar wagons are, to clear infantry, while the rest is for holding them. And especially those peasant archers. They are a huge problem, especially into halberds, and you need halberds if you want to really hurt knights. So yeah, those two are a bit in an on-off relationship here the whole time. Oh, he actually lands. I could have trapped him here, but I'm not reacting quickly enough. Yeah, probably. Sad. We see some Pegasus Knights, uh, which probably meant to provide some constant pressure here and then or take down the war wagons if I'm not careful. We have a Dwellers going on here, hitting the demis and the spear, and I start healing the demis straight in return. I need them. I need them so much I summoned the second unit to just provide cover here for the wagons, since there's a constant threat from those Pegasus Knights going for them. They can delete a wagon fairly quickly if they land on them, but if they die in return to demis, that's not a good trade. Here I must be a bit careful to not overextend, but those are just peasants. They don't have mouth, and France does. Yeah. Luan trying basically the whole game to shut down my backlines, but yeah, that's why I parked those demis. They provide cover here. I summoned the Sterlin's Revenge and started shooting at the Pegasus Knights. They do enormous damage into them if they shoot, but my opponent noticed it a bit too early and took them down. Still, I got some good damage onto them, so I'm not super sad. It's okay. It's not a good trade, but okay. So yeah, and now I'm really feeling the pressure. I get hard overwhelmed here. There's so much infantry here which I can't clear, and the knights pour in through every gap in my formation, which isn't a very tight formation. That is admitted. And start taking down my infantry. I protect my wagons, but that means I can't have so much resources to spare for the frontline fight, and the infantry currently just swarms me. I have the wagons are too overwhelmed to actually clear this horde. They need a bit more time, and this is way too pitched a battle. I maybe should have stayed for one side here, but to have just a smaller front line. Yeah, and here I start doing mistakes. I have so much infantry I need to clear, and battle programs here, for example, are also quality infantry as much as Bretonnian quality infantry goes. And so I start things that can really clear infantry. But you see it, immediately 3 knight units go for them, and they are faster than my demis by a good amount. They are as fast as the outriders, so if I'm not in between the outriders and the knights, then they will get the kill. No debate. Opponent mostly summons here Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant, so very low tier Bretonnian cavalry comparatively. Where's the dwellers? Here. Okay. Yeah, still doing good work. Can't really super complain about it. Though the unit isn't that expensive, so it maybe wasn't worth the wins investment, but since there's no healing on the table, you kind of have to do it. And, well, here you see me do it again. Actually, this volley into the Knights of the Realm, which were super tightly packed there, was quite good. Got me 300 value, which is nice, but the thing cost 900 and needs to pay off. And that's not what's happening here. And all that while I am getting pushed back more and more. And at this point, I was almost as far as to call it a day, losing the second outrider here currently. I was almost about to surrender, but then, yeah, I still have my mortar wagons at least, which are good at clearing infantry, and I have a healthy, strong, and flying terror beast, which just chased off terror out at Knight of the Realm here. So at least stick around to try. Luan here stops chasing those mortar wagons. I'm not completely sure why. I think he could have chased them off the map. It's not that far anymore. Just this 150 meters or what it, and 100 he could have sticked along to them. I'm still under a triple cap. Which isn't nice, but my opponent since the start of the game has kinda failed to clear my Demi Knights, and they go around and kill Knight unit after Knight unit with them, which then gets terror outed by France. Luan isn't below 50% yet, so the beloved son of Bretonnia didn't activate. And yeah, you see it. This whole point suddenly started routing due to France's presence and the blood roar, and I start taking it. My demis clear screen off those knight errants here. That's not a fight that the knight errants want to take, and blood roar France comes in, terror proc at 75% health. Yeah. This is the way you can clear a point against this. As long as the other side doesn't have ATP. And now I summon here wagons. This is something I should have done way earlier, and instead of summoning those, what's it called? Grenade launchers. To first clear off all the knights on my field, establish a strong position where my shooting is fine, and then summon the outriders to clear the infantry. Yeah, if you do it before, it was a bit of a panic decision from my side, not doing the calm way, and it cost me 1800 gold. Well, not quite, since I got some volleys off, but maybe 1500 or something. So yeah, I definitely need to take a triple cap here, but I suddenly, since I can just route off everything here, where's the dwellers? It's so hard to see. Here, okay. I suddenly have a double cap, and I see myself back with a chance. This thing here losing was quite devastating. It was my purely capture rate basically on this point. The Jade Wizard is currently off it. The demis don't have a lot of model cell left, and the wagons are gone. Is the beloved son of Bretonnia active right now? Not yet, so he's barely above 50%. Okay. So I'm losing this point again, but I'm making a double wagon effort to go for this. Wagons have 4 capture weight, like cavalry, I think, or 3? I don't know. But still combined, they outweigh an regular infantry unit, and Bretonnian infantry even has less capture weight. So they are a good tool to actually just take a point, and they're also good against knights. This side seems like I will be taking it with the wagons, and once the spears arrive and those dummies here doing work, but this side varies. I don't really have capture rate here. I should have clicked France to kill the Grey Relic. Okay, now it routes by itself. Still no beloved son of Bretonnia active. He's keeping quite a barely above 50% though. I'm taking this point, but you see above here, it's a few seconds too late. The mid was also falling, but yeah. So if I hadn't summoned those stupid outriders, granite launchers, especially the first one. The second one actually finally got a bit of value since it had this one lucky, and that's what it is. It's nothing you can bank on. Lucky volley into the Knights of the Realm, actually. But they were a huge mistake. They also aren't good capture weight, since you need to be so careful with them. I should have summoned those wagons earlier, and you can use them a bit as a melee chariots if you go into such crap things like peasants, or even men-at-arms if they don't have spears. Yeah, this lost me the game. I also made other mistakes, and my opponent was playing very good and very unforgiving. Especially Luan was all the time there disrupting my things and forcing me to react to him with demis, relocating the mortar wagons and going in with France. And yeah, he was so disruptive, and also routing, of course, infantry. The opponent also fairly early quickly realized that he shouldn't blindly commit into trying to kill my mortar wagons, and instead used the knights to collapse my front line to completely get the points from them and remove all my infantry. This is something a lot of Bretonnian players, or a lot of players in general, do, that they mindlessly commit into the enemy artillery, even if it's well protected, and I had the demis here, and the demis got their value. Instead of just quickly killing off and routing the enemy's front line, and the whole anchor of the whole thing that the enemy tries to play banks on this front line, to some degree at least holding. If there's peasants running around everywhere, the other side just can't maneuver, and the knights are heavily empowered. And you're holding the points, of course. Yeah, France didn't pay for himself, but Blood War Terror Beast rarely pays for itself, if especially into such slow leadership factions. You've seen on this one example knights that only taking 25% of their HP is enough to terror out the unit afterwards, and so yeah, you need to consider that when looking at the value. The mortar wagons were under a lot of pressure and a lot of repositioning. I still say they did good, especially with the under artillery fire leadership penalty, incredibly well synergizing with terror procs. And they took out the archers, which is their most important role and what I wanted to have them for. I sadly could never advance from that to a stage where I could safely summon the grenade launchers. And yeah, with decent value for a caster, I would say so it wasn't super worth it. I would have brought healing for the knight. But opponents, usually you see a lot of high tier knights, Trail knights, because they absolutely dunk onto demi knights if they get the charge off. And since the field is swamped with peasants, usually they do get the charge off. So I was a bit surprised with this approach, but they also got really cracked by the demi knights, demi halberd knights, but they were everywhere, and that's the problem. They were everywhere, and everywhere is where my Outriders grenade launchers also were, and that wasn't good for the Outriders. So I understand this approach, and it worked out. It denied me my shooting tools, and then won on melee. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have fed the Sterlin's Revenge into the Pegasus Knights, but I wasn't sure what to do about them, and I, the gamble of the other side quickly notices that they are being shot at, was worth it in my opinion. So most players will not react in seconds to this. They come out of stock, out of Vanguard Summon. So yeah, I think I've went over everything. Like, the infantry isn't interesting for both sides. Whatever values there may be is obscured by how often they got summoned, and things like peasant hordes just don't make value. So yeah, that's about it, and see you on the next one.